Good morning and welcome to our Coffee With session, where today we are honored to have with us Jaume Arau Canal, Managing Director of Bayer Denmark. Bayer is a global leader in life sciences with a strong focus on advancing health and nutrition through innovative agricultural practices. In Denmark and across the Nordics, Bayer is not only driving forward traditional farming, but also pioneering new approaches to agriculture that address the pressing challenges of our time. I recently had the pleasure of visiting Bayer's demo farm in Rügen, together with German Ambassador Pascal Hector, where we witnessed first-hand cutting-edge techniques and sustainable practices being implemented. In this conversation, we will today explore the fundamental reasons behind farming, the future of agriculture, and how technology and collaboration are shaping the industry's evolution, particularly in the context of sustainable practices. I'm Andreas Wenzel, and I will be discussing these interesting topics with Jaume over the next 30 minutes. And please feel free to post any questions that you might have in the chat. We will address these during our Q&A session towards the end of this webinar. So once again, welcome Jaume, and it's a great pleasure to have you here at our offices in Kongens Nytorv.
Good morning.
So to kick off our discussion, I would like to ask you a more or less fundamental question. Farming has been a cornerstone of human civilization since ancient times. From your perspective, why do we continue to farm in today's world, and what fundamental purpose does agriculture serve?
Well, thank you, Andreas, and thank you to the Chamber for having me today here. I would still say we fundamentally need farming and agriculture to survive. If the question we would do it the other way around, could we live without agriculture or without farming? Probably the question would be, no, we can't. And I still believe, and I believe that we do impact with agriculture into our people, into our world, into our society. Now the question is probably, how do we do farming compare the way we did it 20 years ago or 30 years ago, which we're going to talk later as well.
Yeah, that would be basically one of my next questions, because farming obviously is a very fundamental tradition of human civilization. But what are we doing today, and in what way is Bayer working to ensure that farming remains sustainable and viable as a practice for the future?
Well, we have to start from the realistic thinking of that we need still to feed the world. There's more than 8 billion people on Earth which deserve to have a food on the table every day. So how do we do that with much less arable land compared to 40, 50 years? Can we do that? Yes, we certainly can do with the fields and with the harvestings we do at the moment. But of course, we do things different. And with that, farming is evolving. It has evolved a lot in the last years. And Denmark is a great example. I like data quite a lot, and 80% of farmers in Denmark, they use GPS technology right now in this as we speak. Mm-hmm. And that's just a minimal practical tool which go even above that with other systems and practices. So in a way, the evolution is here already now in Denmark, and that's why we have our mission statement in Bayer is health for all, hunger for none. That's quite a bold statement. Just say, okay, we try to give health for everyone in the planet and feed the planet. Here we say, okay, we need to produce more. I think that is clear. We need to increase productivity. Yet, realistically, we are in a climate transformation. We are in a climate change. So how do we mix that together? And how is farming addressing this challenge as well? Is something that this is what we're talking to our farmers right now.
Yeah. And this is obviously very much also linked, I would suppose, to the challenge of sustainability.
Correct.
Because if we want to farm more, if we want to increase productivity, we have a transformation of land use due to climate transformation. We might have less land available. So how does it go together from a buyer perspective in terms of the mission statement you mentioned?
I mean, I'll put it as an example. I mean, I was in Jutland last week, and we met some farmers. And when we met one of our climate field bill farmers, and the discussion, which maybe 20 years ago would have gone into a direction of, I mean, how can I get more gross yields? What does your product do to my crop that would grow healthier and give me more return? The discussion as such has moved to how can I understand better my soil to produce the best crop? I have a field which is completely uneven. How can I put it more even using data? How can I extract some data from your tools that can help me produce more? So this is the conversations we're having. With this particular farmer, at some point we came to the discussion, what is your success? What is success for you? And the guy really went to the bottom line saying, well, now my success is maximize my income, my production, and in an optimal way. And that's this optimization is what we're now talking. Whereas in the past you could think, okay, I spray more, I get more yield, I get more product, which could lead to a non-sustainable way of production. So really we have now the tools to really almost advise the guy on the way he could farm, being more climate favorable and still maximizing the production, because at the end of the day we have to produce more.
Yeah, and so it's more about also preserving the resources.
It is preserving
and that is sustainable, yet at the same time we are able to optimize production and increase.
That is correct.
Yields.
We need to produce more, but we need to restore nature more. I think that's the second fundamental element. And I always try to say that the one that cares more about nature is the one that works with nature and lives out of nature, and that is the farmer. That is agriculture. So we need to go into these two areas. We need to produce more because we are more population. We die longer. That's the case. But at the same time, we need to restore more. And how do we do that? With the so-called regenerative agriculture, which we can discuss about. But it's as well takes fundamentally care that the soil, the water, our fields, our nature is in the best preserved mode.
And that brings me to the point, and you've already mentioned some topics. When we look into the future, and we are speaking about producing more while applying sustainable practices and restoring natural resources, what would be the key challenges that you see for the farmers, but also the key opportunities that arise?
We define this concept of regenerative agriculture based on some elements which should be on the table, from the water conservation to the soil health, to the increase of productivity, to preserve biodiversity, and yet important to respect the well-being of the farmer. So this is also fundamental. But the change and the opportunity is way beyond that. Whereas in the past, you would work in the lab with molecules, and test and learn whether the molecule would save one pest or go into for this crop or survive in this weather element. Now the models have changed, and the model is going to the direction of, using artificial intelligence already from the starting point of the molecule. So the data and analytics is helping us to predefine how the molecule will react under circumstances. So the test afterwards is a confirmation test only. We're speaking about genome sequence. We're speaking about CRISPR. We're speaking about new ways of breeding technologies. This is happening now. But if I have to be critical as well, the challenge that we have as companies and also ultimately on farm level is that we are not yet there. We have, and I have the impression that Europe is lagging a bit behind on that one. The part of the investment that companies and ultimately farmers are willing to take takes a lot of bureaucracy in between. And I believe we have a risk on a European level to lose competitiveness, especially towards the United States. Because the researchers are excellent and are here. And the startups are also here. And the brains are also here. So we can't afford to lose these researchers that they go somewhere else in the world just because we need to take some, I don't know, political box ticks at the end of the story. So there is a lot going on that can help this transformation on the elements of regenerative agriculture. It requires investment. We have the research and the researchers here. Hopefully, from a European perspective, we also see this need happening on a short term. As in pharmaceuticals, in agriculture, to go live with a product can take 15 years. If we use the tools that we have, that can be reduced substantially. But of course, we need everyone on board with this.
So the future of agriculture is very much research-driven, very much digital, artificial intelligence. But we are lacking a bit speed of implementation due to bureaucracy in the European context. And how are you, as a company, engaging with stakeholders, including farmers, policymakers, to promote sustainable, but also innovative agriculture in a European context?
I mean, of course, we do have our team in Brussels doing, public affairs, stockholding, and whatsoever. So the team is now sitting as well there in Brussels, lobbying the decision makers there. On a local basis, of course, we're part of CropLife Denmark, our crop associations. We are evolving there as well from CropLife Denmark to embrace more products like biologicals, biostimulants. This is also where Bayer is now ahead of, with looking to chemistry that is more biologically driven, that can have the same influence as the historical chemicals. Of course, we engage with institutions here, with policymakers here, with LNF, the Farmers Union. So this is where I believe we need to give as well the clear message that we are ready. The farmers here in Denmark are ready. And
so from a farmer's perspective in Denmark, you see an openness. They are interested in applying future-proof technologies.
I absolutely believe so. I think you just can go out and see the interest. And you were in the demo farm, and if our audience would at some point have the opportunity to jump into a tractor, into a combiner, into a harvester here in Denmark, you would see that it feels like almost going into a rocket ship. I mean, the amount of screens that these guys have. But that's a huge investment they also have to do on that one. So everything which is produced is so much under control of the screens. I heard the sentence the other day. I mean, I just came from Brussels, and nowadays it's basically data to advise. So you have the data from multiple sources, which helps you to advise on when and how and what to produce in your fields.
Yeah, and that was something that also struck me when I was visiting Rührgau together with Ambassador Hector, is the amount of digitization already today. I mean, you go into the tractor and it's basically a spaceship. So how are these digital solutions transforming agriculture, and what does it mean for you as a company? Because as I understood also your business model as a company towards agriculture is fundamentally changing over the years.
It is. We call this integrated solution system. So in the end, and of course we still sell chemicals, we still sell pesticides, that's the reality. But we're going towards a solution model that can combine a seed, a crop protection product, a digital tool, in a combination of products to help the farmer. What we are there now already, and we've testing it with some farmers, is basically we've developed some algorithms, and this is here in Denmark. We've developed algorithms which basically can look at the density of your soil and the biomass in your fields, looking from the so-called qPCR, the PCR as we know them from the times of COVID. That in a way that can also be applied to plants to find disease. So these as well we have, and if you combine the disease pressure with your algorithms, or with our algorithms on the soil, plus satellite imaging, you almost are in the outcome of providing a script to the farmer on what to use and what to use, what dose and when. We've developed weather maps where the farmer can just go into our website, put their postcode, and we advise them when is the best time for spraying. So we quite advanced technologically, and a lot of that stuff has been developed in here in Denmark. I mean, we collaborate with a couple of startups. Mm-hmm. That's an important topic as well. Mm-hmm. And I was very happy that I was invited at this tech barbecue event here in Copenhagen, which is one of the biggest in terms of startups in Scandinavia. Yeah. Interestingly enough, I mean, we had been in this event for some years now on the pharmaceutical side. You know, there's a lot of startup ecosystem on pharmaceuticals. Yeah. For the first time this year, they also look at plant health. Okay. So I was happy to be there talking about agriculture, and as well seeing really new companies that are really looking at technology and agriculture. And the researchers we were talking before, where these guys can get to in a short period of time is something that we unfortunately as a big company, we can't. Mm-hmm. So it's a partnership that we need for now and for the future. Yeah,
to drive innovation, because these startups are coming with new ideas quickly that are interesting to you.
It's definitely the case, and that is a fantastic forum like Slash in Helsinki in November every year. And it's quite impressive when you're there and you see what these guys are proposing. In a way, it feels a bit okay. I mean, as a multinational, we could be at that level, but I mean, realistically, we can. And that was a fantastic idea. They came, and importantly as well to say, the guys that we're working with, not necessarily in Denmark but globally, are less agronomists and more scientific, data-driven, and that is also a change that is happening. We need probably less people that understands agronomy as it has been in the last years, but maybe more people that can do an interpretation of modeling to get to an outcome. And this is also what startups are good at. That helped us a lot.
And that's already impacting your business today.
So
this is not something which is only interesting for you and might be relevant for the future, but collaboration with startups is already impacting how you do business today.
It's happening. We have, we had our friends of Pearplan collaborating with us here in Denmark. We're collaborating with Datavex, a Swedish company, which basically they provide us with satellite imaging. So I would probably say that already now drone technology is not becoming obsolete, but with satellite imaging, we can even get more. So combining satellite imaging with our expertise on the land, this is where the discussion with the farmer goes to. What can you as well offer me with your climate field view, which is our Bayer digital tool, to reach the goal that I want to reach? Because society is putting pressure, fair enough, but we have the elements to say, hey guys, here we are with our tools, and here we are accompanying the process.
Yeah, and I was very amazed to see how innovative solution digitization in Rüegård is being applied in a way that, for example, applying product, spraying the field, you are able, or the system, the IT is able to maneuver the sprayer like plus minus 10 or 15 centimeter. That actually means, and which is good for the environment and sustainable, that less and less product is being used because it's applied more efficiently. But as a manufacturer or producer of chemicals, again coming back to the question, so how does the business model for Bayer in terms of agriculture is transforming, and how will it look like in the future?
It will look like with a diversification of products. It will look like I was the last couple of days in Brussels, and they have a fantastic big demo farm there, and they showed us in line with what you were telling, a sprayer, we call it smart sprayer, a sprayer that can detect whether the color of the land is green or brown or gray, to understand when to spray. That is already happening, and they're testing, and will happen in the future. If it detects the green area by analyzing the length of the leaf, for instance, or the darker color of the leaf, can really detect whether it's an onion or a wheat, so to say, and apply really the spot spraying. So this solutions is our business. This is how our business model is evolving. Clearly from the regulatory perspective, there's less and less chemicals in the market. That is happening. So we as a company also need to transform our way of doing business, and this is a bit this integrated solution that I was talking. We talk about solutions, not about products probably anymore.
Yeah.
And this is the combined offering that we're having already right now. Still, of course, our big part of our product is selling chemicals, but that is clear. But more and more we are transforming our portfolio as well. And this will be the way in the future.
So it's about digital engineering, Bayer as a solution provider, to farmers guaranteeing a certain development of the area they are doing agriculture on.
It's about our digital owned solutions. We don't sell machinery in a way, so that's why also we need these partnerships. So if we develop a software that can be implemented in a John Deere machinery, there's where we go. Okay, where is our partnerships there in terms of making business together?
Yeah.
We firmly believe that still agriculture plays a vital role, and it will in the future. But as we said in the very beginning, I think we have to put the elements in place that more than ever we sustain the protection of diversity, the water, the soil health, and so on. Just to preserve that we can do agriculture for more years.
Yeah, and maybe as a last question from my side, you briefly mentioned the whole topic about competitiveness, about losing ground, specifically vis-a-vis the US because of bureaucracy, for instance, in Europe. So from your perspective, what would be your advice to European decision makers, policy decision makers? How do we not lose ground? How do we continue to benefit from the innovative environment companies like your startup research centers we're having? What must we do on a European level to allow your vision of the future of agriculture to be implemented and to be contributing to our societies?
I would advise them to listen to science, listen how the world is evolving, listen to our researchers. If the scientific marks are ticked, then we move on, we go ahead. Probably we don't need to discuss. We have a challenge, of course, in Europe because our EU, 27 very different countries, right, with own national interest. So that has been always the challenge the challenge and the beauty of a European Union, right?
Yeah.
So you have countries like mine, Spain, or yours in Germany with 60 million or more people, with countries like Estonia, for instance, which has fundamentally, bordering with Russia, which that's in a way the beauty of having diversity, but the challenge of putting all interests together. So there's, I would say, okay, bring your scientific committees there into the discussion, and because they will understand what science means, what is evolving. Researchers are all over Europe. Probably they don't look at nationalities, or they are there because they like research, they love science, and so bring them in your committees, and of course strive to make faster decisions based on scientific. So tick the boxes that you have to tick, no more, or tick the boxes that we have to tick, and no more than that. That would be my.
And based on actual science and
based on
innovation.
Based on science, based on innovations, prove the concept, and this will help not just in agriculture. I would say that should be an advice to be followed in all areas, right?
Exactly. That's not only relevant.
That's not only relevant for agriculture.
And as a very last one, speaking about Denmark and speaking about innovation in Danish agriculture, do you see Denmark and Danish agriculture well positioned towards the future in terms of implementing innovative and sustainable practices?
I think what I see is really interest of that. We've just for the second year we have now in November our Bayer Innovation Day, in agriculture. We just had one Bio Innovation Day in Finland in end of July, which with big success, where we're showing them this transformation as well. I think the audience is very diverse, so you need to balance a little bit the old products with the new evolution and so on. But as I said, if you tell me in Spain 80% of farmers use GPS, I would say that is impossible.
Yeah.
So it's really happening that the farmers in Denmark are not looking that much on the historical way of how they have done things, but I know my fields, that I know, I have the experience, I have my history, but what else can I get from my field in terms of data that can help me to make faster decisions and maybe to a certain extent more smart decisions. So I'm pretty sure that, and this is why I see that the Danish agriculture is absolutely ready.
All right, yeah, super. So thanks so much. Very interesting discussion, exciting times.
Thank you very much.
The digitization and innovation of agriculture for the future well-being of our planet. So
creativity doesn't stop, and that is nice. That I see every day, and we have these opportunities with the Tech Barbecue event and some others where you see that, well, the enthusiasm there of these guys popping out from universities and showing their inventions, their tools, their thinking, their advancement on things, that makes me, in a way, happy for a bright future in agriculture.
Super. That's a good closing. So thank you so much. As we wrap up today's discussion, I'd like to thank you, Jaume, for making your way here to talk to us about the future of agriculture and your vision, the vision of Bayer. I would like to invite you to join us for our next Coffee With session on the 5th of November. We will be talking with our member company Werner Sobeck, with Stefanie Weidner, about exploring sustainable planning and construction. So thank you once again for joining us today, and we look forward to welcoming you in one of our future sessions. Thank you.